Hi there. My name's Richard Harvey. I'm an old friend of Danny Rogers, also an old friend of Tim Butlin. And I was trying to work out when I met them both. I think I met Tim in the 1970s, and I had the privilege of being a tutor for Danny when he was a student at All Nations in the 1990s, was it? Anyway, it's lovely to be with you again today, and it's not my first time at St. Peter's Loudwater, but it's certainly my first time being with you online. What I'd like to do is just go quickly through the passage that we've had read to us. If you haven't read it yet, don't worry, I'll read it again and share some thoughts with you. So we're looking today at the book of James, chapter 1, verse 26 to 27. And it's a wonderful short passage which really helps us to see how we in our own lives should be reflecting God's character. James is summarizing for the audience that he's writing to the things he's been saying throughout the first chapter, and he will go on to develop some of these thoughts in the rest of the book. And in case you can't remember, James, probably the brother of Jesus, his Hebrew name Yaakov, which we translate as James, well known for his piety, died as a martyr in Jerusalem, and is really speaking with a lot of practical wisdom to all of us, but especially from the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible. And he says this in verses 26 and 27 of chapter 1. If anyone thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his heart, this person's religion is worthless. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. Now, James is not really saying that religion is a good thing or a bad thing. He's not saying it's something on the inside or something on the outside. He's just saying that if you want to have religion that is worth anything, it's got to match up to three things that he's going to lay out in these verses. And that's because religion, practical religion, is really showing us what God is like. Our religion should reflect what God is like. So he picks on these three different examples of wise use of speech, because God is a God who speaks to us. And if we want to reflect God's character, our speech should be a reflection of how God speaks to you and me. And the second aspect that he's going to pick up on is a practical social concern that we are involved, especially as he says, with widows and orphans, because God is involved with us. And what's the point of religion? What's the point of a faith if we're not mirroring the fact that just as God loves us, cares for us, and watches over us, so we also are to love and care and watch over others, especially those who really need it. And the third point he's going to make, it's like he's preaching a good 3-point sermon in just 2 verses, is that just as God is a holy God who is pure and totally good, there is no evil in God. So we also, if we're going to really reflect what God is like, need to have that same holiness. We need to be kept away from the things that stain us